In this lesson, we will explore Git Credential Helpers. Git Credential Helpers securely store your credentials for seamless Git operations. Let's understand the problems with Git authentication. One of the common authentication challenges is repeatedly entering credentials for every Git operation. Secondly, storing passwords in plain text is insecure. Authentication tokens expire, requiring frequent updates. Finally, different authentication methods exist across various Git hosts. Git Credential Helpers offer a solution to these problems. Git Credential Helpers are mechanisms that securely store and retrieve your authentication credentials, eliminating the need to manually enter them for each Git operation. There are mainly two types of Git Credential Helpers. First, built-in helpers, which come with Git installation, including cache, store, and platform-specific options. Second, external helpers, which are third-party solutions that integrate with system keychains and password managers. Let's explore built-in Git Credential Helpers. The first one is cache. It temporarily stores credentials in memory for a configurable timeout period. To configure it, use the command git config global credential helper cache timeout equals 3600. The second one is store. It stores credentials in a plain text file on disk, making it less secure. To configure, use the command git config global credential.helper store. Let's take a look at platform-specific credential helpers. For Mac operating system, there is macOS keychain, which securely stores credentials in the macOS keychain. To configure it, use the command git config global credential helper osk-skychain. For Windows operating system, there is Windows Credential Manager, which integrates with Windows Credential Manager. To configure it, use the command git config global credential helper winkered. For Linux operating system, there is Linux Secret Service, which uses libsecret to store credentials in GNOME Keyring or KD Wallet. To configure it, use the command git config global credential helper libsecret. Let's see third-party credential helpers. The first one is Git Credential Manager, which is Microsoft's cross-platform credential helper with support for multi-factor authentication. You can install it via Package Manager. For example, on macOS, you can use the command brew install Git Credential Manager. The second one is pass-git-helper. It integrates with the Unix password manager named pass. To configure it, use the command git config global credential helper pass-git-helper at the rate. Please note that it requires pass to be installed and configured. Let's see a practical example of setting up a credential helper. To configure Git to use the appropriate credential helper for your platform, for macOS, use git config global credential helper osk-skychain. For Windows, use git config global credential.helper winkered, and for Linux with libsecret, use git config global credential helper libsecret. The first time you perform a Git operation requiring authentication, Git will prompt you for your username and password. After entering credentials once, Git will store them securely using the configured helper. Subsequent operations won't require authentication until credentials expire. Here are some best practices for using Git Credential Helpers. Use personal access tokens. Prefer tokens over passwords for better security and granular permissions. Set appropriate timeouts. For cache helper, balance convenience with security by setting reasonable timeouts. Avoid plain text storage. Use system keychains instead of the basic store helper when possible. Clear credentials when needed. Know how to remove stored credentials when changing accounts or tokens. Here are some further resources. Git documentation, GitHub Docs, Microsoft's Git Credential Manager documentation. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.